Welcome for today's tutorial. I'm very glad that you are here. Today we are going to consider something very important, which is factorization. And I want you to pay attention to this tutorial because it's very important. Now, today we are looking at factorization of quadratic trinomial. Trinomial or quadratic trinomial is an algebra expression which with what 3 terms and then highest power of the variable is what 2. Let me give us an example. Example of factorization of trinomial is if you have something like ax squared plus bx plus c. This is an example of what quadratic trinomial because they have 3 terms in this expression, and the highest power of the terms in this expression is what is the power of 2. So this is an example of what quadratic trinomial. So let's look at how to solve this kind of question using factorization method. Example 1. We are going to consider example 1. Example 1. Example 1, we are going to factorize. We said this is number 1. Say to factorize x squared plus 3x plus 2. Now, the question is, how can we factorize this kind of question? Now, for us to be able to factorize this guy, number 1, you need to understand this is what a quadratic trinomial because it involves 3 terms. Since this question involves 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, they contain 3 terms, and the highest power of the variable involved here is what 2. So, because of that, we know that it's a quadratic trinomial. And for us to solve this kind of question, we must understand and identify their coefficient. The coefficient of A, this is like A, B, C. The coefficient of A is what 1. The coefficient of B here is what 3. The coefficient of C here is what 2. Coefficient is the number that attached to a variable or a number that started with what any expression. So now for us to be able to factorize this guy, let's look at solution. Give me, we have x squared right plus 3x plus 2. Now, for you to be able to factorize, there is a method or step that you use when factorizing a trinomial or when factorizing any function that is in form of 3 terms. Number 1, know their product. The product, our product will multiply the first term and the last term. So if you multiply x squared times 2, it will give us what? 2x squared, right? So this is our product. Now the sum is the one that is in the middle. The second term is the sum. So the sum is what? The middle, which is what? 3x. Now, what's going to factorize this guy? You are going to look at what? 2 numbers. When you multiply, give us what? The product. Then when you add them together, you give us what? The sum. Now, if you look at this expression, we have x squared plus 3x plus 2, right? Our product is to multiply the first term and the last term, which will give us what? 2x squared. Because x squared times 2 is what? 2x squared, right? Now, our sum is what? The middle one, which is 3x. Now, our question now we ask ourselves, which number can we multiply and give us what? Which 2 numbers can we multiply and give us what? 2x squared. And when we add them together, that 2 number give us what? 3x. Now, let's look at this expression. We have x squared plus 3x, right? Plus what? 2. Now, for this guy, you know that you can multiply 1 times 2 will give you what? 1, right? 1 plus 1 will give you what? 3, right? So that is the secret. This x squared, I see this guy is in the form of 2x squared. The 2 numbers is going to be what? The 2 numbers is going to be what? X and what? 2x. Why did I put x? X is in the form of what? 1. Because the coefficient of this x is 1. The coefficient of this 2x is what? 2, right? So 1 times 2 will give us what? 2, right? Then 1 plus 2 will give us what? 3. So that is the secret. We are already getting the 2 terms. When we multiply, we give us what? The product, which is 2x squared. Then when we add it, we give us what? The sum. So since you are getting these 2 guys, x, what did I put x? guy is equal to 2x squared. So if you say x plus 2x give us 3x, right? And if you say x times 2x give us 2x squared, which is our product. So the condition is already been satisfied. So for us to be able to solve this guy now, we have to apply it and substitute those two numbers in place of our sum in the expression. So this gives us, let me make this. From here we have x squared plus 3x, right? Plus 2, right? Now, since we are watching the product, you know that the product is, when we multiply, it gives us 2x squared. When we sum, it gives us 3x. The two numbers when we multiply gives us 2x squared. And when we sum, it gives us 3x is x and 2x. So this becomes x squared. Now, the 2x now, the two numbers, we are going to replace them in the place of the sum, which is the middle number. Don't make a mistake. We are replacing those two numbers that satisfy the condition of the product and sum in place of the middle number, which is our 3x. So we are replacing this guy now, x and this guy. So this guy becomes plus x instead of this guy, plus 2x, plus 2. There is 2 here. Let's add this 2 here. So we are replacing those two numbers that satisfy the expression in place of this guy. Now since we are gotten this guy, this becomes, try to factor them in group now. We will have bracket x squared plus x, this x here, close the bracket, plus bracket open 2x plus 2, you close the bracket. Now our major aim is to factor out what is common. Now you know that x is common here and x is common here, so I factor out 1x. So I bring that 1x outside. This will left with only 1x. Plus, since I remove 1x here, it's going to remain 1. I close the bracket again. Plus, I come to this second bracket. Check what is common here. What is common here is 2, right? So I bring that 2. I bring that 2 outside. Then it's going to left with x. Plus, since I've already taken 1 and 2 out here, I'm going to leave with 1. Because 2 times x is going to give us 2x. 2 times plus 1 is going to give us 2, right? Let's try to factor this guy out here, add this guy. Now the next thing you have to check is to check on both sides what is common. You know that x plus 1 is common here, right? X plus 1 is here also. So that x plus 1, the one that is common on that both sides, you put it first at the front to be what? X plus 1. Now after you put it at the front first, then you take the one that you factor out, which is x on this side, and 2 on this side, into another bracket, which is going to be what? X plus 2. And this is the final answer. And this is the final answer. Now let's move on to the next example on this factorization of a trinomial expression. Let's look at the second example. Example 2. Example 2, they say to factorize x squared plus 8x plus 15. Now, if you look at this question, it's already what? A quadratic trinomial. Because it contains what? 3 terms. And the highest power of what? The variable involved is what? 2. So this is already a quadratic what? Trinomial. And we know that in quadratic trinomial, our first step is to identify the product. The product is to multiply the first one and the last one to give us the product. Then after that, the sum is the middle one. The sum is what? The middle one, right? Now, since we have known that, our step is to do what? Solution. We have x squared plus 8x plus what? 15, right? Now from this guy, x squared plus 8x plus 15, you know that if you multiply x squared by this last one, multiply the first one and the last one, that is x squared times what? 15. What is what? 15x squared as our product. As our product. Now our sum is the middle one. Our sum is what? Our sum is what? Equals to what? 8x. Now since we have identified our product 15x squared, and our sum is what? 8x. Now, we are going to ask ourselves a question. Which two numbers that when we multiply will give us 15x squared? Then when we sum them together, when we add them together, will give us 8x. Which two numbers is that? Think about it. Which two numbers can I multiply to give me what? 15x squared. Then when I sum them, it will give me 8x. Now if you check, if you say 1 times 15, it's going to give you what? 50. If you say 1 times 15, it's going to give you 15, right? But if you add 1 plus 15, it's going to give you 16. So that does not satisfy the condition. Check another one again. If you look at it, 3 times what? 5, right? 3 times 5 will give you what? 15. And 3 plus 5 is going to give you what? 8. So that two numbers will satisfy the condition of this trinomial expression. Therefore, we are going to use if this implies that the two number is what? The two number we have is what? 3x and what? 5x. These two numbers. Because if you multiply 3x and 5x, it's going to give us what? 15x as the product. Then if we add 3x plus 5x, it's going to give us what? 8x. So these two numbers satisfy the condition of this quadratic trinomial. Now, after that identify that, the next thing we are going to do is to put those two numbers in place of the middle numbers in the expression that is being given. You know that from this expression that they give us, what they give us is what? They say you should factorize what? X squared plus what? 8x, right? Plus 15. This was the question that they give us. But now we have already identified those two numbers. When we multiply, it gives us the product, which is what? 15x squared. Then when we sum it, it gives us what? 8x. Now, since we have identified this two numbers as 3x and what? 5x, what we are going to do next is to put those two numbers in place of the middle numbers, the sum, in place of the sum. So we are going to have this thing there, we have x squared, right? Then plus 3x plus 5x. Now, look at these two numbers now. They are standing in place of this 8x. Now, plus, you know that we have already 15 here. Put our 15. Now, at this point in time, look at it. We are going to put them in a group. We are going to have x squared plus what? 3x in one group. This two one in one group. Plus, bracket again, 5x plus 15 in another group, right? Now look at this guy first. What is common in both sides of this guy? What is common? If you look at it, you know that x is common here. There is x here and there is also x here. So you factor add x on that. So you have x bracket. If you move one x from here, you will look for 1x, right? Plus, if you move one x here, you will left it for 3, right? You close the bracket. Because x times s is going to give us s squared. X times 3 is going to give us what? 3x, right? That's why we have already factored out this guy here. Now we are going to this side. Come to this side. Plus this plus here. Now if you look at what is common here. You know that I factor out 5 here. Because if you can factor out 5. Because 5 times 3 will give you 15. So 5 is for common. So I bring out 5 outside. Bracket. This is left for x. Plus, now, if I move 5 here, and factor out 5, this is going to be left for 3. 3, right? Because 3 times 5, 3 times x is going to give me what? 5x. 5 times 7, 5 times x is going to give me 5x. 5 times 3 is going to give me what? 15. So this guy will factor out this guy. Now what I'm going to do next is to put those things that is common. You know that this guy is common here and it's also common at this point, right? X plus 3 and this x plus 3, two of them are common on both sides. So I bring them first as the first one. So I put x plus 3, close the bracket, then bracket, then put those two things that you factor out. I factor out x here, put it here, plus this side I factor out for this other bracket here, and this is the final one, and this has to factor out this trinomial expression using the method of factorization. You can ask me question if you do not understand, or drop your comment in the comment section. Thank you. Let's look at this next Example 3 says to factorize x squared plus 10x plus 24. Now, for you to be able to factorize this guy, you need to first identify the type of quadratic equation that is here. Now, if you look at this quadratic equation, it's a quadratic or trinomial because it contains what 3 terms. This is first term, second term, and the third term, right? So, since it's a quadratic trinomial, and the highest power that involved in this expression is power 2, we use the method of quadratic trinomial. And the first method is to do what? Identify the product, right? The product is the terms, first term and the second term being multiplied. So our product is what? When you multiply the first term and the last term, we will have x squared times 24 is going to give us 24 what? X squared, right? This is our product. Then our sum is the number that you have in the middle, which is what? Our sum is what? 10x, right? Now we have already identified our product and our sum, right? Now what I'm going to do next is to look at two numbers. When we multiply them, it give us what? 24x squared. And then when we sum them, it give us what? 10x. Now if you look at 1 times 24, it's going to give us what? 24, right? But if you add 1 plus 24, it's going to give you 25, which does not satisfy this condition. Then if you add also 1 plus 24, it's going to give us what? 25, right? Which is not satisfied as 10x, right? Now you look at another number that when you multiply, it gives you 24x squared. Now the second number is like 6 times what? 4. If you say 6 times 4, it's going to give us what? 24, right? Then 6 plus 4, it's going to give us what? 10 as a what? Sum. So this satisfies this condition. Therefore, from this expression we have here, x squared plus 10x, right? Plus what? 24. Now, these are the power of product as what? 24x squared, and our sum as what? 10x. We are going to break those two numbers, which is what? Our first number is what? 4x, right? And the second one is what? 6x. So if it says 4x times 6x, it's going to give us what? 24x squared. And then if we add 4x plus 6x, it's going to give us what? 10x as our sum. So this satisfies the position of the quadratic trinomial. Therefore, now we will substitute these two numbers, 4x and then 6x, in place of what? Our middle number that we have, which is what? 10x. So this implies that you see our x squared here, this is this guy, plus we are replacing these two 4x and then 6x in place of this 10. So we have 4x plus 6x, right? Then plus our 24. These two numbers replace what? This middle thing. Now let's put them into what? Two places. We have bracket x squared plus 4x plus, then you put this side, bracket 6x plus what? 24, right? Now we are done. At this point you can check what is common in both of the brackets and factor it out. You know that x is common here and there is x here, right? So we factor out for x. So we bring that x outside. We are going to let it what? 1x. Because x times x will give us what? X squared, right? Plus this plus here. Now we already factor 1x from here. So we are going to let it what? Only 4. Then plus. Now look at, we have 6 here, right? And x. We have 24 here. But there is no x here. So x we cannot factor out x, right? Now let's look at 6. You know that 6 can go into 24, right? How many times? 4 times, right? So we will have, if you look at 6 as a factor, we are going to let it what? X. Because 6 times x is going to give us for 6x. Then plus, since we factor out 6 from this guy, we are going to let it for only 4, right? Because 6 times 4 is going to give us for 24. We close the bracket. Now what we are going to do next is to check. You know that this guy, x plus 4 and x plus 4 is common, right? Since they are common, you put them first in the first bracket, which is going to have x plus 4, right? Close the bracket. Because they are common on this both sides of the expression. Now, next you introduce another new bracket. The new bracket is going to contain those factors that we factor it out. Now the first one was what? X, right? Plus the second one is what? 6. And we are done. This has to factorize this kind of question, giving us the trinomial quadratic expression. Now let's look at the fourth example before we look at other things. Example 4. Example 4, we say you should factorize 2x squared. Sorry. Let me do this. Factorize 2x squared plus 9x plus what? 10. Now, please pay attention. Know that the other one that we are solving, their powers, their coefficient, the coefficient of x is always what? 1. But this one, the coefficient of x is what? 2. So you need to be careful. But they are the same method. Now if you look at this guy, first identify the type of quadratic equation that you are solving. Now if you look at this, we have 1, 2, 3, right? So this quadratic equation is a trinomial quadratic equation. Since it's a trinomial quadratic equation, the first thing you have to remind yourself of is to look at what? The product. So look at what the product. The product is the summation, this multiplication of what? The first term. This is first term, second term, and what? The second, third term. The product is what? Multiply the first one and the what? Last one. So we are going to have product. Now if you multiply 2x squared, right? Times 10. It's going to give us what? 20 what? X squared, right? Now we are going to the product. Now the next thing we are going to look at is the sum. The sum is the middle term, which is what? 9 what? X, right? Now we are getting these two parameters, the product and the sum. What next? What I'm going to look for now is what? Two numbers. When we multiply them, give us what? Our product. Then when we sum them, it gives us what? The sum. Now if you look, ask yourself, if you multiply 1 times 20, right? It's going to give us 20x squared. But if you add 1 plus 20, it's going to give us what? 21, which does not satisfy this condition of what? The sum. So we leave that 2 factors because that does not support this word condition of solution. Now look at another factors. If you say 4 times 5, 4 times 5 is going to give us what? 20, right? Then if you add 4 plus 5, it's going to give us what? 9. Since 4 and 5 satisfy both the product and the sum, we are going to use 4x and what? 5x as our what? Two numbers that satisfy this condition. Now since we have identified those two numbers that satisfy this condition, we are going to put those two numbers in place of the middle term. So we are going to have 2x squared plus, instead of us to write 9x, we are going to put what? 4x plus what? 5x in place of what? 9x. Then plus our what? 10, right? Now at this point in time, we're going to group them. Now if you group them, we have bracket 2x squared, right? Plus 4x, close the bracket, plus bracket 5x plus 10. Now at this point, look at, know that x is common here and x is common here, right? So you factor out x is common here and x is common here, right? 2 is also common and 2 is also common here. So you factor out 2x. Let me. Now you know that you have bracket 2x squared, right? Plus 4x bracket close plus bracket 5x plus 10, right? Now if you look at these two expressions, you know that 2x squared plus 4x, check what is common on both sides. You know that x is common here, right? And x is also common here. You can know that 2 is also common because 2 can factor out for 4. So we're going to factor out for 2x. Now if you take out 2x from this guy, we're going to left with what? X. Got 2x times x will give us for 2x squared. We are done with this thing. Plus, now we factor out 2x from here. What are we left with? We're left with what? 2. Because 2x times 2 going to give us 4x. So we are done with this first bracket. Now cross this cross here. Now look at this expression, this bracket also. What is common? You know that we have x here, right? But there is no x, so x is not common. Leave it. Now you know that we have 5. 5 can go into 10, right? So bring out 5. Bring out factor out 5. Now let me put x. Because 5 times x gives us what? 5x. Plus, if you bring out 5 from here, we have 2, right? Because 5 times 2 is 10, right? Now at this point, we are plotting what is common on both sides. X plus 2 and x plus 2. So what we are going to do now is to put the first thing that is common inside the bracket. So we are going to have bracket x plus 2, which is this guy. Put them in one bracket. Then the next thing is to put those things that we factor out into the second bracket, which is what? 2x plus what? 5. And this is the final answer. Okay, thank you very much for being part of us today in this simplified STEM tutorial. And then if you are not subscribed to this channel, I would like you to do so. Share this video to your colleagues and those in need of mathematics. God bless you. I'll see you next in our next tutorial.